know this is a weird angle, but I was watching some stuff and doing my thoughts for this video. Um, Hi everyone. I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. I'm Tarasha. Welcome to my channel. In this episode or this video, we're just going to review my thoughts, what I thought about episode 4 of X-Men 97. Now, with these thoughts that you're about to hear is something the fact that the whole time when I was watching episode 4, my heart in certain places in this episode, I think my heart was in my stomach or was lying on my bed. The story that they're telling, and I said this in my thoughts, which you will see, that the fact that you see consequences, the fact that Magneto broke Bishop's thing to get home, I knew this was going to turn left very quickly. Okay, and Apocalypse knows when he's seen the stuff that was written on the wall. He's seen it. He's like, oh, this is my life. We all know, if you have watched the '90s cartoon of the X-Men, we all know what kind of man he is. But I love the fact how they are writing this and how elevated it is. Because some of Apocalypse like sayings, the lines that he's saying are just top tier. Okay? Especially when he was walking towards Charles and he was had his boot on him, which I talked about a little bit in my thoughts a little bit, which you'll see in a minute. But he had his boot on his face, and just the saying that he was saying, it was just great. I probably put it right here somewhere. But episode was amazing. You guys are going to hear my thoughts right now. But that's exactly what they were doing. They were trying to rewrite the timeline with a mutant, one of the first mutants, Apocalypse, and rewrite it. And result of that, Magneto lost his life. And the theme here should be consequences of your actions. The moment he walked into that temple and seen what he had to do, that's exactly what he did. He did what he seen, and they got away. But in result of that, Professor X stayed, Magneto died, and I knew that something was going to go awry when, like, Apocalypse was like, okay, I'll listen to you guys. Then the moment when he walked into that temple, I said, oh, dang. When I seen everything, I said, oh, everything's going to hit the fan. And then when you see Apocalypse has his boot basically on Professor X's head, I'm like, consequences of your guys' actions. Thinking that you can rewrite it, use him, and in result of that, things are going to hit the fan. Now, the crazy thing about it is that there was a good scene between Apocalypse and Rogue. Rogue knows when she goes back home, the person that she loves is not there, which is Gambit. Okay? I feel bad and my heartstrings just earn for her because she loved Gambit. Yeah, she couldn't touch him. But this scene from last season, tears were just talking about, I could feel you. I was like, oh my goodness. And then she was asking Apocalypse, well, have you ever loved? And all he's thinking about is his mom abandoning him. And we did see, what he went through as a younger person. And then we're here. We know what Apocalypse becomes because we're seeing the past and we are seeing the future. We know what he's done in the past. When he is rising up as he is, then we see the 1990s, what they're doing with X Force and X Factor. Hopefully, like I said in my first review of the episode 1 and episode all the way to episode 3, hopefully we see just a episode just about X Factor and how they got together. Knowing the fact Polaris she's the X-Men herself. Then we see the future. We know that they are not in the future no more. They're back into where they should be. But the whole thing went down with the fact, yes, they got home, but in result of that, Magneto, the chemistry and the friendship and the brotherhood between Magneto and Professor X, it gets stronger and stronger, but there's consequences from your actions. Magneto knew that he had to do what he had to do to save those people in the fourth episode. Okay? And in the way he got taken out, my heart was in my stomach. Actually, I think my stomach was on my bed. The whole time I was like, "Excuse me." I was because the whole thing of him coming back in the first season and seeing him get get try to trust from the other X-Men and stuff like that. And the result of seeing Professor X and Magneto, and Professor X is seeing what Apocalypse did to him, and just the tears go down Professor X's face. I was I, I was shocked. Okay, I was really really shocked. But the whole entire episode was amazing. Like I said, and I will keep on repeating myself, that the fact that X-Men 97 is giving the core, giving us stuff pulling from the comic books. And that's why I'm trying my best for my summer reading to get stories that I haven't got into deeply when it comes to X-Men. Now, at the end, we see Captain America, Black Widow, and we see Wolverine. Now, Wolverine and Captain America, they have known each other for 50 plus years. So, Weapon X is going to be mostly the next episode, which is fantastic to see what goes on between that, what was in that folder. And he said that he's getting the game back together. I was like, okay, okay. Can't wait. Episode 4 was amazing. I would give it a 10 out of 10. Can't wait to see what they do with episode 5. And I keep on telling people, if you haven't dived in to X-Men 97, go and do it. You will like the animation, you will like the stories that they're doing. You will love X-Men itself. Watch the 90s, watch X-Men 97, dive into it, have fun this summer with this show. Fantastic. Can't wait for episode 5. And you guys know around here we talk about the things that we love. Bye.